Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds, and it's a day 3 review from me and Benji. Oh, this is just heated up, hasn't it? This test match is getting interesting, and it bodes really nicely for the rest of the series because England have had a little bit of a fight back. There's a lot to talk about today, so thank you so much for all the support so far. We really do appreciate it on the channel. Stick around. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get into it. So India did they batted pretty well. All things being said, they built up a very healthy lead against England. They ended up getting 436, so a lead of about 190, I think it was. And that being said, England did bowl pretty well in the morning today. And Joe Root, we said yesterday that he was the most potent looking bowler, and he proved it. He took a four-fer, and it was a very good four-fer at that. Let's get into that first of all. So obviously Root bowled pretty well. Jadeja didn't manage to get his ton, which, obviously a bit disappointing for him. But I do want to talk a little bit about Jadeja and Axar Patel, because they were the only two batters that did anything for India today. What did you think of those two? Just, I don't know, broad strokes, just how they batted today and also how they are generally.
I think today it wasn't so much about how they batted today. I think it was more because I think they're both great batters, right? Broad like they're fantastic. I think they're both deserve to be called genuine all-rounders. I've got enough of this narrative that Akshar Patel is only a bowling all-rounder. They're both genuine all-rounders and were really quite class. I think what was a difference this morning was that Wood and Root just bowled so well this morning. I think only 6 runs fell in the first half an hour. And it was just, I don't think it was Jadeja and Akshar not taking the attack. I think it was just really good bowling from the pair of them. Root was just very tight and very tidy and actually getting quite a lot of grip
You gave it a rip, didn't you?
when he bowled it slower and looped it a bit. And I think it was only when they started to really try and tee off. I think Axar Patel hit 2 4s against Jack Leach when he came into the attack for his first over. And then the next over, Root took 2 wickets, was on a hat trick, and then it was only a matter of time until Rahan Ahmed could get that last wicket of Axar Patel. So I think it was just a really good piece of work from the England bowlers today. I think, look, we saw yesterday how well Axar and Jadeja bowled, right? Batted, sorry. They were aggressive. They were taking the fight to England. And I think this first session, we only saw, was it about 5 overs this morning? Maybe 10 overs this morning? I can't quite remember how many overs England bowled, but it was the first period I think that England have really looked controlled with the ball.
They turned it around massively. I completely agree with you, and they looked far stronger than they had before. So reasons to be cheerful, from England's bowlers, and that's quite exciting to think about going forward. I think potentially with a slightly different balance, obviously all pitches taken into consideration. This won't be. It could still be a whitewash, absolutely, but it could be a little bit more competitive, and that's what we want to see. We want to see a bit more fight and some exciting test matches, and that's what we're getting. So going on to England's innings, aggression was still high,
Mm.
and actually it paid off a little bit more. I think they were a bit more nuanced in their aggression this time. Crawley and Duckett doing the same things, doing good things. I'm interested to know what your thoughts are on Ben Duckett's sort of sweeping innings, because he did say beforehand that he was going to try and kind of, he might use his reverse sweep like a forward defensive. And I think
Mm.
he actually showed that. What did you think about him and Crawley in their opening stand?
I mean, Duckett just loves a sweep, and he's always going to do it when he's against the spinners. I think we saw right in the England batters today, Crawley, Duckett, Pope, the three really top order batters who really did well today, were all relying quite a lot on that sweep. And I think it just goes to show the type of pitches that you're used to, right? Where in you see the Indian top order, they are very much like to be on the front foot or the back foot and playing those, dabs, playing straight. With how the England batters, with what they used to, they're used to it coming at them and moving away a little bit or moving into them. When it comes to spin, it's if you don't know, sweep. But that's the old adage, isn't it? That's Kevin Peterson's motto. And I think they are actually have been practicing the sweep rather than having it as a if I don't know, I'm going to sweep. They've been practicing the sweep as their scoring shot. And it's a risky shot, isn't it? We all know with the sweep, it's a risky shot. James, you tell me off every time I go for a sweep shot. Um, because if you do miss it, you there's so much scope for a top edge, for LBW, for missing it and getting bowled. But when they've practiced it that much, they've just executed. I think Ollie Pope and his reverse sweep, there were a few times where it looked like, that's not gone too well. It may have bobbled up and he missed it. But because he practices it so much, it's not like oh, I've missed it. I'm going to put it back in the locker and not bring that out again. It's no, I'm going to try that again because I'm confident in this. Yeah, I think they were great. I think it only took about 6 or 7 overs or something. I have to admit, I was still asleep, so I was trying to catch up this morning. But I think Crawley was just taking the attack to Axar Patel, who bowled really tight in the first innings, and I think he took him for an over of about 20 or something like that. I don't know. He hit a six off him for sure, um, quite early on. And I think, yeah, Axar Patel was just a bit more expensive today. And yeah, I think the England batter did exactly what they needed to, getting off to a good start. But what I want to know, let's let that, okay, that's the openers, Crawley and Duckett. Okay, I think we're at a point now where we've got a couple of good openers, which is such a sigh of relief for England.
Yeah.
I've always been on Team Crawley. He's wormed his way back into your good books. Talk about Pope.
It was outstanding. I mean, I had really low hopes and really low expectations for Pope because he looked terrible in the first innings. He got 1 off 11. I thought that was about right for how he looked, playing with really hard hands. And then his second innings record is abysmal, usually. He averages 16 in the second innings of a test match. So I was like, this is going to be a write-off. And then he went and produced an absolute clinic. He was dropped on 2 by Rohit. It
Yeah.
was it was a tricky one. Rohit just kind of got. I think he tried to predict where the ball was going to go off the sweep, and then he got wrong-footed, and it was a lot finer. And then the next drop off Pope was when he was on 110, and that was again a sweep that Axar Patel dropped. And to be honest, that was a really easy catch. I don't know how he dropped that. So it was a really, really good innings. He made the most of it. He was aggressive. It's one of the first times I've seen Ravi Ashwin and Ravi Jadeja be hit off their lengths and lines a little bit. And that was quite something to see. It takes a lot to hit two players of that caliber, two of the greatest spinners to ever play the game off their lengths. It was really impressive. The yeah, he played a lot of sweeps and was brilliant. He kept it along the ground most of the time. He played some really nice flicks through mid wicket as well. It was a really, really complete performance, and he's not out overnight. So that's brilliant. And he was ably supported by Ben Folkes, I thought, who they built up a really nice partnership. And Folkes actually batted really well, and he got undone by one that kept low by Axar. Yeah, I thought it was really good. What did you think about Root, Bairstow, and Stokes? Because none of them really lasted.
No, they didn't last. And again, I didn't see too much of the three of them. I mean, Bairstow got done by an absolute Jaffa. Like, there's not a lot you can say. Jadeja set him up wonderfully. If you look at the two balls from Jadeja, the the ball before the wicket ball pitched and spun and was taken, probably sixth or seventh stump
Mm.
after Bairstow had dabbed and missed it. He then pitched the ball in exactly, and I say exactly the same space for the next ball, but he bowled the top spinner and it skithered on and took the off stump. It was
Yeah,
just a fantastic bit of spin bowling to
even on
get
the
to get
replays,
Bairstow.
I couldn't really pick the difference in the
No,
action. And that's the thing, like, you think these are international cricketers, they are trying to pick the ball out the hand. There was very marginal difference there. It was
yeah,
incredible from
yeah,
Jadeja, and he did set him up. It was, if you look at the ball in isolation, you think, oh, that's not a good leave. He's left a straight one, but
yeah.
it was it was a very good setup. I completely agree with you. I thought Ashwin's ball to get out Stokes was even
That was
better.
a Jaffa as
Actually,
well.
that was a
Yeah,
real peach. Stokes was obviously he was doing his usual thing of trying to soak up the pressure, and then he was going to go and put it on, but he couldn't because he got completely undone by Ashwin, and it was an absolute Jaffa. Um, I'm just I'm blown away by how good Jasprit Bumrah is.
oh,
The
it's
guy,
outrageous, isn't it?
he's so clever. He, he
Yeah,
he's like a spinner, but he's a fast bowler. Like he's really trying to outthink the batsman all the time. His slower ball off cutters are coming in like off breaks. Um, he's just so wily. He's playing absolutely brilliantly. His ball to get rid of Ben Duckett was really good. Like it came in quite a lot, and his ball to get out Joe Root again was, you know, very good. And he's kept it so tight. He was actually the pick of
yeah.
the bowlers on what was actually it was still a spinner's track. And on the other side of that, we've got Mohammad Siraj, who only bowled 3 overs.
Mm.
Now, it is a really interesting one because Siraj only bowled 4 in the first innings. So why what's Rohit playing him for? Like where is Siraj coming from? What's the point in having him? Would it have been better for India to pick Kuldeep? Um I'm just really interested by that decision. What do you think about Siraj?
I don't know. I think I was a bit skeptical of England only taking one seamer in this game.
Hmm.
But yeah, having seen how much Siraj has bowled in this game, as you say, 7 overs in the whole game so far, um, and batting at 11, like it's the ultimate thanks for coming. So I'm
he's
I'm
he's
really feeling for Mohammad Siraj.
he's they're,
I
they're after him paying subs, aren't they? That's what it
Yeah,
is.
I think I think what it has been, and I think this is the same for England as well. I mean, Mark Wood ended up bowling 17 overs, but I think that was just because England were bowling for so long in their bowling innings. Um, I think this pitch has not had as much to offer for the seamers as was initially thought. Like, I think if you look at that team, India are blessed that they've got three fantastic spinners who can all bat very well.
Mm,
Like, so you've got the three Jadeja, Ashwin, and Axar Patel who can be that spearhead spin attack, and you don't have to really drop a seamer to get them in because you've got Jadeja in that proper all rounder spot. If you think about England, the equivalent is having Stokes at six, being able to bowl, but because Stokes can't bowl, then Joe Root has sort of become that all rounder bowler, but he's obviously an off spinner. So I think there's not quite been as much in there for the seamers as probably both teams thought. I think maybe England thought Mark Wood would be bowling a bit more than he had,
mm,
um, and definitely relied a lot more on Tom Hartley in that first day, probably because of how well Jadeja and Akshar had done
mm.
in their bowling innings. Yeah, I
It was
think
always going to be a risk, wasn't it? It was
if
always
Siraj
going to be a
hadn't have
risk.
played though, I really like that point though that yeah, why not just play Kuldeep Yadav instead,
Yeah.
who is an extra spin option. He's a wrist spinner. He turns the ball both ways again. My only thing would be is that wrist spin hasn't been particularly effective. Like Rahan Ahmed took a couple of wickets, but he was the most expensive of the England bowlers. Oh well,
Bar Hartley, right?
Tom Hartley was, but he still was fairly expensive as a wrist spinner. It seems to have been a pitch that really suits the finger spinners, and I think that's yeah been the main
That
message that we've taken from this.
that being said, I really rate Kuldeep Yadav as a
Yeah,
tester, and I think he's got everything going for him that it would have made more sense to me if England were the team playing two seamers, because realistically, fast bowling is where their strength lies. That's where their best bowlers are, and on the at the same time, India spin is their strength. They have world-beating spinners. That's not to say anything against Siraj, who I think is outstanding and was probably under bowled. But yeah, there we
yeah.
go. That's the point on there.
Maybe we'll
Now,
see loads of Siraj tomorrow. Maybe he was
maybe,
in there. Maybe Siraj has been picked for reverse swing,
yeah,
and there hasn't been any reverse swing.
right. There is something really interesting because one of
Okay,
our members, our longest serving member, look who's watching, did
legend of
put
the game, by the
a
way. Legend of the game.
he is a legend of the game. He did put a cricket nerds question on yesterday's video, and I have a feeling that England saw it because he said, CNQ, we are always told that we shouldn't judge a pitch unless both teams have batted. I'm confused whether the pitch has really got the ghost that we were made to believe on day one by the English batsmen. Indian batsmen aren't as good against spin in test matches. If you remember in the Border Gavaskar Trophy, Matthew Kuhneman and Todd Murphy troubled the Indian batsmen, and they weren't that very experienced bowlers at all. Do you think that England batsmen should play positive but not go berserk, giving their wickets away in these conditions? Maybe if they'd hung around and frustrated the Indian spinners, they could have applied some more pressure. I think that's
Yeah.
exactly what they did. They played positive but not crazy. They took the proactive and positive option the whole time, and it paid off for them. So look who's watching. Well done. You understand Bazball completely. If you want to guarantee your Cricket Nerds questions get answered in the videos, then become a member. It's the best way to support the channel. You saw everybody's names at the start of the video. It's, we're eternally grateful to all of our members because it does really help us out, and you get exclusive content, early releases, emojis, badges, and priority replies, all that sort of stuff.
What a great. I just want to comment on what Look is watching has said because he's as you said, he's exactly right. Zach
Mm.
Crawley got out today playing a defensive shot. He'd barely played the defensive shot in his 33 balls, and then he played the defensive shot and edged it. And yeah, I mean, Duckett got done by an absolute perler, but the top three of England today hung around a little bit more than they did in the first innings, and especially Ollie Pope had just played. I mean, what a hero is Popey! What a man! Pope for president.
Nice. So India is still very much on top.
Yes.
That is ultimately where we're at. England lead by 126. It's Rahan Ahmed and Ollie Pope in. So depending on whether the Rahan Ahmed can really show his potential with the bat and Ollie Pope can stick around, I think a lead of 250 is an absolute minimum. I think this is India's test match to lose, but I am so excited for day 4, and I'm sure that you guys all are as well. So don't forget to stick around.
I'm just glad it's gone to a day 4.
Yeah, who saw that coming after England's first performance? We weren't sure, but it's great to see. So like and subscribe, tell your friends about us. It helps us so much. Thank you for the continued support. The channel's growing, which is really fun to see. You can become a member, like I said. It's a great way to help us out, and you get some cool bonuses. And follow our social medias. We're very active on Twitter or X, and we are around. We'll let you know like when videos are out on Instagram, things like that. So it's all in the link tree down below. You can also listen to the podcasts if you're out and about. I think that's about it. So
Mhm.
let us know in the comments what you think. We love the conversation. I try to reply to as many comments as I can. It's great to see you guys. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.